A few years ago, I remember there were videos of Canadian citizens like sitting in their cars crying about the high cost of living, that they cannot afford groceries or like basic necessities. I didn't really understand it at the time because the last time that I went to Canada, like 7 years ago, it was perfectly affordable for me. But last week, I went to Montreal and I completely understand now. I was really ill prepared for the trip, so once I actually went there, I had to buy these basic necessities like toothpaste, toothbrush, body wash, things like that. And when I saw the prices for these items in their grocery store, my jaw dropped. I kid you not, but body wash was $14, toothpaste was like $12, like one toothbrush was like $7. And some people will say, well, you get paid in USD, the currency is stronger. But what about the people who get paid in CAD? That's not really an excuse because the price itself is crazy for the people who actually live there. And another crazy thing that I noticed was the tax. Like, tax in Canada is crazy. I remember I ordered these.
Yep, she's not joking about the tax in Canada, right? Like, there's a study that came out 2024. Turns out that taxes is actually the single largest thing, larger than groceries and rent for people's expenses. Taxes is the number one thing. And then she went to Montreal, which means it's in Quebec. Quebec is known to have some of the highest provincial income taxes in all of Canada. And their sales tax is not 13% like other regions in Canada, it's actually at 15%. So I completely understand where she's coming from in regards to like the taxes. However, Quebec does offer some really cool social things. Like if you're a family with kids, Quebec has like second to none subsidies on their daycares. You just have to run the numbers yourself and see what works for you. As a single person, maybe Quebec will not be best for you. But if you're a family with kids, I would strongly encourage you to check out Quebec. We'll keep watching the video here.
Two items on Uber, which together was like $13. Y'all, tell me why they added $10 tax on these two small items. Throughout my time being there, I just found it absurd that like the price that I initially thought I was going to pay was nowhere near what I actually ended up paying. And of course, this is me speaking as a New Yorker, but I found New York City a lot more affordable than Montreal.
Yeah, I'm going to call cap on that one right away. Anybody else that agrees that that's cap, put a one down in the comments below. Ain't no way Montreal is more expensive than New York City. No freaking way, Jose.
And maybe I didn't know the proper places to go. But for example, for the basic necessities, I went to a couple of stores and the price did not get better. But another thing is that I've noticed prices skyrocket in general. When I was living in Buffalo and traveling to Toronto very often, it was so I can get this particular service by this Canadian practitioner. And I recently thought that I would go visit her again. Her price almost tripled, you guys. So it's not just with like these basic necessities, it's with everything. My friends who live in Montreal as well was talking about how expensive it is for them to rent an apartment there. It's almost the same price as it would be in New York City, but the pay is nowhere near what you would get here. And so, yeah, I don't know what has happened to Canada in like these last 7 years, but I was completely shocked when I went there and saw what I saw. So now I understand those videos where people were like crying and asking for help, pleading, like what is going on?
I know it's really popular right now to be like pooping on Canada. But nah, like let's look at some stats on this one because I really am not buying that rents in Montreal are on par with rents in New York. So like just a quick Google search. And thanks to our friendly AI overview, we can see that the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Montreal is approximately $17.25 per month. It could vary, obviously, depending on your location, but like in downtown Montreal, imagine living downtown and paying $1,600 to $2,200. There's no way you're living downtown in New York City for any of these prices. Yeah. And this is confirmed by a Google AI overview of New York. You can see that the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is around $4,100. So literally over 3 times as much. So yeah, go figure. There goes that. Now I know like in places like Brooklyn, it might get cheaper. But Brooklyn is not downtown New York. Or is it? I don't know. I never been to New York before. So I don't know. And before we dive into the comment section, actually, I want y'all to let me know down in the comments below. Do you really agree with any of what this girl is saying here? Or do you think she's just jumping on the Canada sucks bandwagon? Let us know down in the comments below. We're going to dive right into the comments without much ado. So one comment says Montreal is way cheaper than Toronto and Vancouver. Yeah, I would agree. Another one says, was it called Pharmaprix? Yeah, nobody ever goes to like a pharmacy store trying to buy toothpaste. But yeah, those numbers sound about right. Trying to go to like Shoppers Drug Mart and buy toothpaste. Yeah, good luck with that. Someone says, literally, what grocery store did you go to have toothpaste be $12? Yeah, probably like a pharmacy. That would be my guess. Someone says, Montreal is not more expensive than New York City. LOL. You pay like $1 billion to rent a shoebox full of roaches in some neighborhood called Bed-Stuy or Fish Guts or something. Exactly. That's what we just saw right on the AI overview. So I would agree with this guy. Someone else says, Montreal is cheaper compared to Vancouver and Toronto. Absolutely. Someone says Quebec has hella social services. I would agree with that. We benefit from those social services as well. Someone else says, hot take. They used COVID to raise prices and never brought them down. 2, we keep talking about price fixing but not got to addressing. 3, fragility equals many think fighting for lower prices is embarrassing. So yeah, I think I would agree with this, right? Like everybody acknowledges that the inflation since COVID has been like very sticky to drop. And usually house prices, rent prices, once these corporations, they get things up, they're never going to let go of our necks, right? They're never going to take their feet off our necks. Pretty much, that's just how it is. Someone that says, to be phased by prices as a New Yorker, that's how you know it's expensive. Yeah, that's true, right? As a New Yorker complaining about prices here in Canada, that ought to make you think twice about Canada. But I don't agree with this girl, to be honest. Probably she has some low experience shopping in Montreal. Like, this is our region, right? So this one touches close to heart, to be honest. Montreal is really not that bad in terms of cost of living. It's not what it used to be, but it's definitely not that bad, the way she's saying. Someone else said they have free healthcare, so it's all good. Yeah, I figured they're being tongue-in-cheek about that one. Canada has a monopoly problem, big time. I agree. Yeah, like, how many airlines does Canada have? Air Canada, and what else? Shit, like WestJet, and that's about it, right? 2 or 3 airlines. It literally costs more money to fly from Ottawa to Vancouver than it would cost you. I know this because my best friend came from the States to visit us in Gatineau back in the day. And it was cheaper for him to fly from ATL to Gatineau than it was for him to fly from Gatineau to Vancouver to visit his now wife. So I agree with this. It's crazy, to be honest. Someone says we're not okay. Send help, right? So anyways, you get the point, right? Like, I think a lot of Quebecers, they will agree that this girl is capping for sure. There's no way the New York prices are on par with the Montreal prices. But I'm curious to hear what you think about this one down in the comments below. Be sure to chime in with your thoughts. Give this video a like and a subscribe just to let me know that you're vibing with me. And until next time, peace.